What's going on, Joe?
Man, I gotta look. Man, I gotta have Sadvik come up with the new intro and have your name put in it as well. Yeah, what's going on, Zach?
I just shared this on my Facebook page.
Yeah, I did as well, and other Facebook pages. So, yeah, tonight we got some really exciting news, and we'll share it in about 2 minutes while the group builds up a little bit while we get more viewers. Um, yeah, I would, you know, we've been talking about a little bit behind the scenes and talking about making you um, more of a permanent co-host. I mean, I think, it's been working well so far. What do you think?
Yeah. I would love to. So Joe, and so for the people who haven't read our personal messages, uh,
You'd be shut. No, just kidding.
uh, um, so I, well, if you don't know me, I'm Zach Donathan. I own Donathan RC. This guy,
It's muted. There you go.
and you guys support
You're
me,
muted.
and I want to give back to the. Did you? Are we good?
No, you're muting. Your audio's cutting in and out, but your video.
Okay, hold on. Let me get my earbuds on.
Okay, that's fine.
All right, I'll be right back. Sorry.
All right. We're starting to get a big enough group. We do have to drop this awesome bomb from the Dakota Slideways series before 7:45. And I'm really excited because it's a Paintworks production. Yeah, I was just telling people I'm really excited to drop this, and I'm really excited because it's a Paintworks production. Paintworks, we have a local guy, Corey Hens, he sits and he does little deals, not little, but he does like race recaps, like with high quality video and whatnot for all of our local and regional races. So the promotional video for what we're about to announce is a Paintworks video. Joel Hyatt said that he could hear you. I couldn't hear you. It's like your mic was cutting out. He's still working. He's still getting those earplugs. Nope. Oh man. Yeah, right. Wow, that changed audio a bit.
Can you hear me, Joe?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. I don't have difficulties.
Sorry,
Sorry, it's
man.
my first day.
Yeah, it's okay. We can talk about it a little bit later. Yeah, I want to share this new exciting news about a race that Dakota Slideways is having here. Should I drop the video?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right, hold on one second. I'm new to this. I need another screen. Joey normally does this, but he's in Florida. So, all right, check this out, guys. So, the Midwest Nationals. Check out those payouts. Let's pause that. I could not see anything. Oh no, the video has no sound. Shoot. All right. Let me see something quick. I am so sorry, guys. I could not see that. Hold on. Because I had to download Chrome for it to have any kind of sound. Guys, I swear I tested this and it worked. I had sound on my end. Did you have sound, Zach? Zach? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was waiting for you to get it working, but that's okay. So,
I was wondering if you had sound on your end.
I didn't have any sound either.
Oh, I'm so
I
sorry.
didn't want to interrupt your thing. So yeah, let's talk about it.
All right. Yeah, sorry guys. Well, I'm so up because the audio worked on my end, and that's why. Let me try this again. So yeah, it's their big race that they have every year. Lance says he's not Zach, but he hears us both. But anyways, it's a big race out in South Dakota in Aberdeen. It's in the middle of July. So the dates are, and that went away. There we go. We'll have Corey make it. The dates are July 13th and 14th. And it's always a good time at Dakota Slideways. They used to get a few pros out there. I think they still do here and there. And it's just a great regional race. I'm super excited to go. I don't know who they have announcing. I hope they have Sean Van Dalen. You know, Seth's dad? He is an excellent, he's an excellent race director. I hope they have him announcing again this year. The track is always awesome. Always. Good. It's a good place for all racers. I seriously suggest, checking it out. And I'm so sorry I botched the video. I don't know why it didn't have sound on this end. I had sound on my end, which is frustrating.
I don't know. I'm having trouble with my earbuds, so.
Yeah.
You're talking to the wrong guy.
It's a night of technical difficulties.
Yeah, so what do you think about the payouts?
The payouts, I really like the payouts just to get racers out there. $1,000 to win 3 of the classes. I mean, that's really going to put the pressure on, in which I think there needs to be more of in racing. And man, they're getting serious sponsorship for this to be able to do this. I really think it, Corey says it is Sean Van Dalen. But yeah, I'm excited for the payouts. I'm excited to see what competition it'll bring. A lot of people don't realize the talent the Midwest has. You know what I mean? But we have the Fullers, we have Tom Rinderneck, we have Seth Van Dalen, we have Kyle Holmberg. No, the video's public now. Sean put the link up, or Corey put the link up. Excuse me. Corey put the link up, so we'll put that on the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah, I honestly, actually, I don't think the payouts are. I think they're great. I don't mean like that, but they're not that expensive to do something like that if you don't do trophies for everyone. And you just do trophies for like maybe top three. You put a little bit of that money together with some of the sponsorship money,
Yeah,
um, and you have, I mean, you have $1,000 pretty quick. Plus the track puts up maybe adds $5 more to every entry, or
sure.
and you can make up the money quick. I think it's nice to see more of the sport taken professionally. I do think that there can be some issues because people get a little more aggressive when there's money involved. But
Yeah, but I'm super excited about it. Yeah. Here we go. It's $7,500 total. Oh, and it disappeared on me. Dude, there it goes. I do not know what's going on, man. I really don't. This system usually works flawlessly. So anyway, $7,500 in cash and prizes. It's going to be July 13th and 14th in Aberdeen, South Dakota. Check her out. Yeah, it'll be a really good time, guys. So we'll be talking more about it. More information comes up. And like I said, Corey put the video public. You should be subscribed to the Paintworks Racing page regardless if you're not, if you're listening. Yeah. Sorry, man. I'm a little bit. Oh, Benjamin James is saying he thinks that Joey had the right idea with having refs last year at DNC. Now, that's an interesting topic to get into in a little bit. But yeah, so last week when I was in Iowa, my wife, I don't know if I like accidentally brought it to her and then went out of town or whatever, and I was asymptomatic, but she came down with COVID pretty hard last week. And yeah, so it's been a really rough week on our end, but we're getting through it, and she's fine now. But my brain's scrambled, man. Plus, I had a rough day in Muay Thai, so I
one too
did
many head kicks is what it sounds like to me.
well. Yeah, we did jujitsu for a little bit. Then it's like, let's throw the gear on. It's like, okay. um. So yeah, Zach, what have you been up to these past couple of weeks? Have you gotten any racing done? Any fun roar meetings?
No and no. I haven't gone racing. I will be going racing next weekend. Unfortunately, with how my schedule is and the tracks near me, kind of, and my motivation to go race is not super high. I'm still have a newborn. She's doing great.
Yeah.
Um, and just taking up all my extra time. Starting next weekend is probably my last carpet on-road race of the year.
Yep.
For mod touring at the lower level, King of the Road. Actually, I just finished there live, and I shoveled some food in my mouth, and now I'm here.
Right. Yeah, dude, the season's coming to a close quick. Pat's wondering when you're going to come and run in Minnesota. You have come and run in Minnesota before, haven't you? You've been to Genesis.
Yeah, I've been to Skittles track.
It's a drive.
Yeah, it sucks. You have to.
It does.
It was 14 hours for us to drive there.
Not worth it.
From northern Indiana. Now I'm in northern Kentucky, so it's going to be at least that amount. I would fly out, but so the rest of this year will be dedicated to World's Prep for me.
Right.
Try and get some asphalt racing under my belt. Building a new car, spending time with my family before doing that. There's a local asphalt track that's about 2 hours away from me. I'll be there as often as I can be. I'm hoping at least twice a month, which is currently just about twice as much as I race now,
Yeah.
which is 0 times a month. With how the family is working out and
Well,
you
the
got sports and whatnot.
distance. Yeah, the distance also to a on-road track for you is pretty ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, the nearest, actually this will be the nearest on-road track is 2 hours away. Generally they don't run mod touring there, but since it's asphalt, it sounds like there's going to be some people to run there. There is Hoosier RC, which is 45 minutes north of me. I've been running
Yeah.
Mod Wheeler at.
Yeah, that's not the same.
No, it's a great facility, and I really like the people there, and the racers are cool. Dirt's not my thing. I have so much more fun running on road than I do anything else. And yeah, so I'm gonna give asphalt a try. I've raced mostly carpet. I've only raced one other surface, which is epoxy concrete. A
Oh,
mix of asphalt and carpet racing. So this will be true asphalt. So we'll see how it goes.
yeah. Benjamin James says Eddie Henley is good people. Daryl McNeil checking in. Yeah, I've been racing a lot, and May and June are going to be pretty damn busy for me. Dude, I just booked my trip, my Vegas, my ticket to Vegas, plane ticket. I've never spent so much on a plane ticket alone, let alone Vegas.
What's in Vegas?
Silver State in May.
Ah,
I'm going to run fifth scale. It was round trip with Delta, $576. Super economy.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
the normal price, unless you live next to like O'Hare,
yeah.
or like a major airport like Dallas Fort Worth.
Well, MSP is where I fly out of, and that's a international airport.
So is Louisville, but I can
Yeah,
go and fly out of O'Hare for $200 cheaper.
yeah. It's insane. Well, usually at most a flight to Vegas is $300. There were times when it was like $40. Last year, I want to say my ticket was like $280. It was like dirt cheap. It's just a different in a year. Richard's checking in. Lynn saying Eddie runs Hoosier. Yeah. Joey was saying he couldn't attend. His signal is terrible. He's out in Florida racing big cars with his old man, I believe, or somebody. Ben is saying Silver State and Nationals in Idaho are fairly close this year. I'm sure. I mean, you can't separate the races correctly. I have 3 big races in May and 2 or 3 in June, and then 1 in July. So, I mean, I'm pretty booked up and freaking out at the moment, actually. But you know what? Instead of looking towards the future, let's talk about last week. There's a really good time at Island Speedway. There's a lot of talent there last week because people are starting to prep for the J Concepts race coming there in June. And, the track was excellent. Always a good time at Island. Though the only and it's not really a complaint. I don't think that they were expecting this many entries. It really should have been a 2-day race. You know what I mean? There's 100 and I'm trying to find last week's race. There we go. Iowa. There were 161 entries in like 24 heats. I think it would have served better being a 2-day event. But other than that, everything ran well. I made the A in Wheeler with the new B7. I made it mid B in two-wheel expert stock. Yeah, I should have been a little bit closer to the A. You know what I mean? But we're starting to figure that car out. Yesterday, when we were running AstroTurf, we went from that point with the new car, like him and Han about it. Like, I don't know. We're trying to get things figured out to where the car was good all of a sudden. And it's like, okay, we're going in the right direction at this point. But yeah, Island was a good time. Rendered it cleaned up in two-wheel drive mod, and Nate Sutherland just, I'll tell you what, Nate Sutherland won two-wheel stock, but he had Riley Philbert on his tail. Riley Philbert was actually in the lead in lap traffic, just ate him alive. I kind of feel bad for the guy, but yet again, he's a young kid. He'll get over it. He's got a lot more of those left in the tank. I don't think he realizes it, but he does. Both Riley and Nate do.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and Riley's really, I met him 2 years ago or last year. I don't remember. Relatively recently, and he was quick, but he wasn't like national level fast.
He is now, which is nuts.
And he's really developed and put in the work over the last year, and he did well at an 8-scale race. First time running nitro buggy.
Right.
And then he came and ran here at a completely different discipline, and did well there. So we might be looking at the makings of something great here.
I hope so. The only thing keeping a young kid like that, like, out of the spotlight is basically financial support. I believe he's on his own at this point. He used to live in Minnesota, or near Minnesota. He used to race at a oval track in Minnesota. I had no idea until like one day he was on the No Name RC podcast talking about T's hobbies. I'm like, oh, this guy's from here, but he's got the Omaha Hobbyplex as his home track, and he gets to all the practice he needs, which is excellent. So, yeah,
he has Alex and
Will, and
yeah.
There's a few other guys there that are insane, like Daniel Bender. 2 years, he'll be towards that top as well. He bumped to that A main, that two-wheel stock A main, and that was a really hard A main to make. So, yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, but dude, Island, man, it's always a great time. It is. I'm trying to figure out the whole 21.5 gig for Joe 3, because as we discussed last time, 21.5 is becoming the national, like, regular guy stock class. Mm-hmm. And he did well with it. He almost made the A main, but it could just be the 21.5, or I have it geared wrong, but man, something's missing. I don't want to be heating up his batteries to 100. Like, the top stock guys, they're cycling their batteries over and over and over and over until it's time to race. They're not just like cycling it once and timing it. They keep cycling it over and over and over, to where there were a couple oopsies last week at Island.
I'll tell you where you don't get any oopsies.
With the heating sleeve. And that's what I use. I use the DRC heating sleeve.
The reason that the guys are cycling their batteries more than once is that they're not, first, as soon as you stop discharging that battery, pretty much the heat stops being generated. You can charging it slightly heats it, and you do have some carryover from the discharge. But that's why people are discharging at high amps and then charging at high amps.
Right.
So you can get that battery warm onto the track.
Yep.
Every time that you do a cycle on your charger, though, it's a cycle you don't get to use on the track, and you only have so many race quality cycles out of a battery.
Yeah.
If you use half of them or more on your charger, then you only got that many good cycles on the track.
Yeah.
With the heated lipo sleeve, you get the same results. Then you can control all that as well.
Right.
So yeah, from the drivers who have used it, including like national champions, they prefer that method than high amp cycling. But that does mean you can't be lazy and leave your battery in the car. You have to take it out.
Right.
Thumb screw, or by turning the little tabs and moving it, which also means that if for some reason there's an issue, you don't burn down your whole car.
Yeah. Yeah, that's also. Daryl McNeil is wondering if I like the new B7. I started really liking it yesterday, so the answer is yes. I did go through a couple of weeks of new car blues. It's just not the same, and I try to set it up the same, if that makes sense. It's a whole new car. It's going to be basically entirely new setup. Yeah. Anyway, can't say, to wrap up Island, can't say any bad things about them. I've been going there since the tracks in Minnesota were shut down because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been watching those guys grow and grow and grow. And I mean, they built a literal world-class facility. Oh, and we tested on the dirt oval on Sunday. We were going to race, but they rescheduled a race, and that was a blast. I've never driven on an oval with that much grip. They say sauce isn't allowed, so I didn't bring sauce. I mounted up slicks with no prep whatsoever. Immediate grip to where I'm almost traction rolling with my car.
Wow.
Yeah, like I would if I were to race there, I would probably buy those super stiff foams that J Concepts makes with the thick sidewall fronts.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was unreal. But yeah, so I want to talk to you a little bit. We didn't have a ton of news, but you made the world's list and you are going.
Yeah. So that's what I was kind of saying earlier. So so as any business owner will tell you, you have to make your choices, because now I don't get to work 40 hours a week or even like 50 hours a week. I work so right now my schedule is get up at 6 a.m.
Yep.
And work when I can, take care of the baby when I can. And then hold on, let me see if I can turn my mic up.
Okay. I can hear. Let's see if I can turn it up on my end as well. There we go. I can turn it up a little bit before it starts getting funky.
Maybe people can hear me now. I hope it's not too loud.
Ooh. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. It's a fine adjustment.
So I don't get to race that much anymore because I do all these other auxiliary things to support the business besides running it, and then running the business and taking care of friends and family and doing that kind of thing. So my racing career has taken a personal backseat to that, and with that backseat, I was able to qualify into the Worlds, albeit at the bottom. I think there are better racers than me that probably should be qualified that aren't.
Yeah.
But they're not. So this is probably going to be the only time in my racing career that I get to be invited to a Worlds that I can actually attend.
Yep.
Maybe in 8 years when it comes back to the U.S., but I don't know. It is on asphalt in Bakersfield, California.
Yep.
I have never raced on asphalt before.
Okay.
I am told the Awesomatics 800R is the better car to have than the Awesomatics MMX, which is the last car. The MMX and the 800R are about equal on carpet right now. They haven't figured out how to make the R work as well or better, I guess is a better way to say it. But on asphalt, it's a superior car. So I'll be having a brand new car racing on a brand new surface.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and figure all that out with some help at a track that I've never been to before, and I don't know who's going to be there.
Well, it's asphalt. I've done asphalt on road in a couple of different disciplines, and it is a lot of fun. I haven't done it in years and years, and the last time I did it was nitro on road, so I really don't have much help. But the grip is a lot better than you would think it would be. It's obviously a lot softer setup too, but it's a good time, and you're gonna have a lot of fun racing with those guys. There is a lot of hate I saw thrown around on the internet about it. It's like, guys, somebody was bitching about because of a nationals was ran in Florida, guys get to race in California, and it's like, guys, if you wanted to make the world's list, you could have gone to Florida to the nationals. And these are people who travel around racing anyway. I'm sure you saw. I'm sure you saw the same.
Yeah. So, and then there was a big, I don't know. There's a lot of posts on Facebook about that, like Rick Howard's page, just for example.
Yeah.
And my take is that, you know, I'm not the fastest guy. I probably shouldn't be going to this event, but other people, like if you take the actual top 40 fastest people that should be going to this event, some of them don't want to go because of XYZ reason, which is okay.
Yeah.
Some of them can't go because of previous obligations, which I get, you know.
Yeah.
That's okay. But it leads me as I'm fast enough to get invited, but I'm not like, you know, I'm a lap plus off of like national champions on carpet. So, you know, I'm okay. But so I think those people that wanted to get invited and should be invited should have qualified for should have ran a Aurora Nationals to be qualified in. And that's about all you can do.
What I was going to say, with IFMAR, you get plenty of heads up when Worlds is going to be in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they spring it on you last minute. Well, the A scale Nitro Worlds, they ain't spring it on us the last minute, but they were with off-road. They were like, it's in Brazil. But then everybody then is like, is it going to be in Brazil? Is it not going to be in Brazil? That type of thing. There's a lot of hemming and hawing about it. It is going to be in Brazil, but I mean, a lot of people are going to go, but a lot of people are not going to go. I think we're going to see an unusual world champion out of 1A scale Nitro Buggy this year, but what's your prediction for the mod touring car?
I think it really depends who's coming and who's been practicing. Like if Coelho spends the next 6 months running touring car asphalt, like it's gonna be pretty hard to beat. But the same could be said for Ryan Hard. You know, Volker's always lights out quick. Then you have like
Schumacher driver.
Yep, you got Orlowski.
Yes,
you can't count him out. He's good at everything he drives is and if I could get like a pinky finger's worth of that talent,
I know.
I'd be doing good.
I know. And the thing about Orlowski, I remember last year he went and he won an e-buggy Euros, and then the next week he was somewhere winning a big on-road race.
Mhm.
It's like, what in the... I always put him in the mix because he's won worlds before, albeit in a different discipline, is David Ronnefolk. I guarantee he'll be there with an X-ray.
I don't see him making the A main.
Maybe. No, you're right. There's a high level there, but he's always in the hunt in the Euros.
For a touring car?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just running my horizon on non-US related events that are not on road. So
I'll be honest. I only know because listening to other podcasts that are not. I mean, I listen to the No Name RC podcast, and when they talk about Ronald Falk, it's a really good asset for X-Ray to have because he's also an on-road driver that also does well on the Euros level. I don't know how he did this time around, but I know last time around he was a privateer on that end. I want to say he was still racing for Mayako. He might have been with HB, and he did fairly well a few years back. But
yeah, but that's a different. I mean, all these guys are fast. Like, don't get me wrong. I couldn't beat him if I wanted to. I'm trying to look up the Euros now, but I don't know.
They're hard to look up because I tried looking up large scale Euros because I kind of want to go and ask Connie Svensson if I can borrow a fifth scale from him and go race the Euros large scale because it looks like a ton of fun. But I can't find any good information on it. It's like AFRA doesn't do a great job on that end. They do a great job with their race coverage when it's actually happening. But like, if you go look at their past events, they use a very old and out-of-date scoring software in Europe. And I do not know where you find it online.
I have the results from ETS last year. And they have, I think it's in German. I'm not sure. But the names are in English, but the titles are in something else, so I don't know. I mean, Reinhard, Volker, Lucas Urbane, which I've heard of, but I haven't seen him a lot.
Right.
You got Christopher Krapp, Yannick Prumper, Jan Rotowski. Those guys have come over often to race. I've seen everyone except Urbane over here before. And you can't count out Kevin Hebert either. He's the current national roar champion,
right?
For on-road, and he's been stupid quick at everything.
Yeah, it almost seems like I haven't been paying attention. Last time I paid attention to Kevin was when he lost the AE deal because AE stopped running on road. And he lost a little bit while he was trying to find his speed again with different companies. And from what it sounds like, he has found that speed once again.
Yeah, he has been so his first year X-Ray was a little lackluster. He was learning the car. I don't think the car was as impressive either. I think he joined 22.
Yeah.
I may be incorrect on that, but the X-Ray 22 was good. Was a good car. Like, nobody can complain about it, but I don't think it was better than the Awesomatics. The 23 car was probably as good as the Awesomatics on carpet, or maybe a little better depending on like what it is. And this year, it looks like the 24 is better than the 800R on carpet at least.
Really?
Well, let's look at snowbirds. I mean,
right.
And then you have Schumacher coming. I mean, Orlovsky's going to be the only one who's running the Schumacher car, but they're supposed to be coming out with the new touring car.
That's the car that Orlovsky's been winning with. They finally acknowledge that they have a prototype, and that's what he's been winning with. I mean, we all knew it, but they finally acknowledged it.
So it's hard to say like what's really going to be happening at Worlds. I think you can find the usual suspects in there, along with some like local fast guys. They had actually, let's pull this up here. They had the Automatics like Winter Cup race at Bakersfield.
Okay.
Let's see if they are done here. Oh no. They are done. You know, I think all these guys are from the U.S. Actually, Monty Panzica won that race over Jacob Cruz.
Okay.
And then, you know, you can't put out. I think Aaron Lewis is the TQ. I could be wrong there. No, it must have been Monty. I hadn't checked the results today. So looking at this, Jacob Cruz was it looks like he was the TQ, followed by Aaron Lewis and then Monty Panzica. Yeah, David Mayhew and Lex Tyler. I mean, I think all those guys are in the fight to be A-main candidates. I don't know, you know, where they're going to end up in the A-main, but I think or even if they'll make the A-main, because there's such a big talent pool. Like, we're probably going to be talking, I would say 2 or 3 seconds between the whole A-main.
Sure. I forget what Worlds it was, but Steve Hartson won it with the B44.2, and nobody ever heard his name until he won Worlds, because he was the local fast guy. And the Worlds was at his home track, and he's like, hey, great, and he just crushed everybody in Wheeler. So I could definitely see a scenario like that out there happening.
Yeah, and I bet all the, you know, it sounds like the Automatics crew went out there and did a lot of testing with some of their stuff. I don't know what cars Aaron Lewis or David Mayhew run. I know Jacob Cruz is on a Mugen.
Yeah.
Monty and Lex are on Automatics. And I know Hanulek was out there as well. He got 9th or qualified 9th.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a great race. I'm hoping that there's like more entries in mod than there are in spec this year.
You know how that's going to work out though.
But I'm going to say there's going to be more.
I hope so. I really do.
I think you're seeing a turning in the page of people getting tired of spec racing.
I'll tell you what. I'm not going to make any accusations, but there were. You could tell certain motors at Island were turning about 2,000 to 3,000 more RPMs than your average guys. You know what I mean?
I do.
And that's where the BS of spec is, and I can see your point in running mod.
I honestly, just aside from, I got kind of burned out on the motor tuning, personally. That's why I'm not a big fan of running spec. It's kind of expensive to do that, and people always say, well, running mod's more expensive than stock because you're going to break more stuff. The first year you're going to break more stuff than stock because you're not used to the power. But you don't have to buy a new motor that second year. Your batteries are probably going to be pretty well shot because we use like the super low profile 4000 inside.
Yeah.
And you just don't get, I mean, you only get so many hundreds of cycles out of them before they get a little rough. but the batteries are pretty cheap compared to like your stock batteries.
Yep.
And you know, really the most things that I go through in my car now are tires and body shells. Like,
Yeah, I was gonna say you'd go through more tires than you would in stock, but that's about it.
not on carpet. It's just
Really?
yeah, because and I don't know about this in asphalt because I'm not. Well, I assume we'll be an asphalt racer, but I'm not currently.
Yeah.
But in with the new gravity tire on older generation CRC carpet, like not the new one, but all the other ones.
Yeah, no.
Gravity tire lasts. Yeah, I don't even know how many races. Like how many ever races you want.
Yeah.
I'm going to a race this next week, and I'm buying one set of gravity tires for the weekend.
Right.
I plan on practicing all day Friday on them, and all day Saturday on them, racing on them, and then probably just giving them to one of the locals because they're like 35 or 40 bucks a set.
Yeah.
And they last you 2 days of racing.
Yeah.
And I don't plan on running much again. So realistically, that's like I couldn't get 2 days of racing out of clay set of tires.
Sure.
Like running at Hoosier, just as an example.
Right. Jake Wiggs checking in. He was at Island last week. So we're going to get into questions here pretty quick and then probably try to cut it at 8:30 because I don't know what happened when I tried playing that video. It cut off the recording, so I'm going to have to record it off of the YouTube video for the audio. So I'm going to have a late night in front of me.
All right.
And 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu, bright and early. I skipped the gym all last week because just in case I got COVID, I didn't want to get any of those guys sick. I don't think there was like Monday and Tuesday, I felt a little funky, but I'm like, this can't be it. This just can't be. So, next week though, I'm race directing a race at Dollar Hobbies called the Icebreaker. I did it last year. It's a good time. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday race. So, yeah, Evan Tapp checking in. If you guys want to, there's plenty of spots left open. It's going to be a good time. But other than that, frickin', I've been racing like crazy lately. I'm happy about it. And then, March might be a little bit lighter. I think I have 2 announcing gigs. April, nothing really planned. Then May, I have Silver State. I have FTR opener at the Van Dalen's track. And then I have the first round of the MNRC. Then June, I have the INS race, J Concepts INS race in Muscatine, and then I'm race directing MNRC round number 2 at Loose Nuts. So I'm going to be a busy guy for those few months. I got to figure out a way to get podcasting in for both podcasts, actually, because we had to miss the last 2 weeks of the MMA podcast because of my racing. So it happens, but I like racing, so F them. Cam saying the Icebreaker is a good race. It is a good race. I enjoy it. So our first question comes from Chris McKellips. Chris McKellips owns Party Crashers. It's a deal where he goes around to local community centers and charges the kids like a small $10 or $20 fee, and they get to drive cars around a track for couple hours at least. So he's trying to build RC that way, but he goes, question for the show. Traxxas is releasing a 1/7 scale 4-wheel drive slash. Do you think this could be a spec class to get more people into 1A scale racing? You would need to run a 4S probably, I'm guessing, yeah, and would really be cool if we could get more people racing. And he says he still needs to come out with this 5T this summer. Possibly, very, very well possible. The way I look at it is like at one point, we literally had 50 people running Slash on a Friday night. Out of those people, 4 of them probably still race, but it did hook those 4 people. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to cast a very wide net to get a couple. That might not be a bad idea. What do you think, Zach?
Sounds like the new Bruggy to me.
Oh
I
my
couldn't help
God.
myself. So I think that's great. I think getting RC enthusiasts into the sport, being the racing side of things,
Right.
is great. I think there's like an axial or something. There's some kind of ready to run car out there that's really competitive out of the box.
Yep.
No Name RC podcast. Oh, you got it.
What was that?
Well, I can't remember the name of it. I heard
It's
about
an Arma Typhon.
Okay, I'm sorry, Arma. But still, like, if that's like a car that's you switch the tires and it's competitive out of the box to be from a ready to run car for 8 scale is amazing.
Yeah, right.
That's great. That's what like more of RC needs, because I think RC's like it's kind of expensive to race at the top level.
It
like
is.
To go try to win national level stuff. But what isn't expensive at the top level?
Right.
But if you're going to go like club race, I think you can do it like relatively cheaply, depending on your surface.
Yeah.
You know, if you're racing like on a non-abrasive surface that you can get like a month out of a set of tires, and you know you buy batteries like once a year maybe,
Yeah.
and just parts, then it could be really cheap to do something like that. You know, it's a big investment up front. You got to drop like, let's say $2,000 on a charger and some other stuff to be to be able to charge your batteries in time to race, and you need a better radio than whatever it's going to come with, but and probably a better servo.
Yeah. Doug Reek was saying that's how he started racing A scale, was with the Typhon, with the Arma Typhon. Yeah, no, and his car looked pretty good. He was trying to run it with 3S for a while, though. It was a little underpowered. But yeah, you're right about the tires. So the thing about Joe 3 is, like, his first year running A scale, I'm like, oh, I'm going to need a ton of tires. I put a set of green reflexes on his car for the first round. I'm like, oh, these aren't wearing, because he's not going fast. He went 3/4 of a season on one set of tires. And that, you can never complain about that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, because he just wasn't driving hard yet. He's just getting the car around the track and just doing the best he can. Yeah, you know, it would be the really crappy thing about the Max Slash doing a spec class with that is you would get guys that are like in between my driving skill and the very tippy top, just wanting to get a trophy at the end of the year or some nonsense. They wouldn't leave it to the beginners, or not even the beginners. I'd say the sportsman level drivers. Because there's been people that have been driving for a couple of years that are still sportsman level, and it would be a great second class, but you'd get some a-hole, 1 or 2 of them, that would be lapping everybody. And that
that's where it's the race director's responsibility to keep the seasoned racers out of the ascension classes.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Michael Cook is wondering, hey, Joe and Joey. Well, Joey's not on this one, but Zach is a longtime listener and love the show. He's building a B7 to run on CRC black carpet. He says, I'm building my shocks right now, and the manual is not calling for internal limiters. Could you touch on that? Here's the thing with internal limiters. I liked them more for Wheeler, and I think I might have one in the rear in the Wheeler right now, but we haven't been using many lately. We're actually trying to get more droop out of the rear. We're running the +4 eyelets in the rear with one or two millimeters of external shock limiters. So nothing on the inside. I would definitely leave the 1.9 pistons in the rear, put 1.8s in the front, do a CRC black spring in the rear, and mess with the front springs. Some guys are all the way up to purple, which is a super stiff spring. I'm not there. Purple is like a 4.4, 4.5 pound spring. And I normally like the red, which is a 4-pound spring. So it's significant difference. But yeah, I built it kind of kit spec in the shocks. That 1.6 piston they have in the front is just way too stiff. So, hey, Jim Scott check it in. He says I'm looking good. Yeah, I'm a little bit chubby right now. I'm still trying to lose weight from I hurt my back in August and gained a little bit of weight, and I'm still trying to lose it. Sugar is a true addiction, and I got a problem. But like I said in the last episode, I've been doing jiu-jitsu, and this is the first time I've been doing it as a big guy with a little bit of skill. I kind of like it, Zach. I really do.
What do you weigh, Joe?
192 pounds.
All right.
Yeah. When I was competing heavily, I got down too low for my body type. I was walking around at 158. I was really fast, but it felt like I was hitting like a brick wall when I was trying to grapple with people and go for 168 to 172 was where I like to used to be. But now this extra 20 pounds, and I'm learning how to use it. I don't know, man.
Especially if you can convert it to muscle.
I can. Man, there's only so many hours in a day. But yeah, you know, because you're working more than me and you have a newborn. Well, not newborn now, but, you know.
He's an infant, yeah.
Yeah, an infant. Cam is wondering, he's been watching more clips from carpet racing in Europe. Anything you wish we would do over here that they do over there? Track layout and obstacles, classes, etc. And he goes, okay, we'll tackle that one first. Then somebody brought it up earlier. So almost every track in Europe is only semi-permanent, and the club has volunteers for referees. I would like to see referees. I mean, there was an argument at the track yesterday because of the race director didn't see something because, you know, the race director only has 2 eyes if they're lucky. And
right between the track and the computer.
Yeah, exactly. A referee. I kind of like the idea of high vis vests for outdoor racing. I would like the marshals to race or wear a high vis vest for safety reasons.
I think a hat as well, or like something on your head, especially for like 8 scale stuff. Because I mean, if you race any kind of 8 scale and you're going for a car like under a jump, you're doing your best to look and jump, but the racers need to be able to see you as well.
Right. You know, and it's very inexpensive to get a high vis vest and a hat. It's very inexpensive. But the tracks are a little mundane. I would say, you know, I wouldn't mind some of that mundane stuff to happen around here. They're going a little bit too wild with some of the stuff. They kind of need to back off in carpet racing a little bit. If you want to see some good European racing, and if you are on TikTok, a lot of people aren't, go to, I think you pronounce his name Miklos, Mikklos. He races over in Europe with the Extra Lap RC podcast guys, and he puts a lot of good European racing on his TikTok. Yeah, Jim Scott's making a good point too. A referee or whoever could give the marshals good direction. If they're wearing a high vis vest, all that junk. Yeah, it's just like we need some safety things and some referees, or one referee.
Depends how big the track is. For like 8 scale off road, with the jumps and that, you could get away with 2.
Sure.
For carpet racing, I think having another set of eyes on the opposite end of the track is helpful, and I think it should be done. And yeah, I think the European tracks are just different. They're fast and flowy versus ours are like technical, and like you really got to drive them well to do it, and they're easier to make mistakes on. Like the European tracks, if you make a little mistake, it's not like it's a tenth. It's not like the end of the world. You make a mistake on an American track, generally you're out of contention for leadership.
I got a story about that in 2 seconds about track difficulty, but we'll get through Cam's question here too, because it's a 3-parter. Cam always has good questions. He goes, with the outdoor season knocking on the door, what event are you guys looking forward to? I'm looking forward to Silver State, INS, and the Midwest Nationals. What about you? Your Worlds are in summer, right?
November.
Oh, November.
So for me, I think Silver State's always a good race. PNB is a good race. All the INS races, all of them are amazing. They've done an amazing job with that series.
Yes.
Yeah. So, not all of them, but a lot of these there's so many big races now that you got the Roar Nationals, coming up. I don't have the dates in front of me, but those are soon.
Yes.
And then you have the carpet and the off-road nationals coming up. Those are going to be amazing races too.
And what's awesome is the coverage we get, because you got Keenan's new company. I always forget the name of it. I'm sorry, Keenan and like 3 or 4 other guys. You have
it's actually not Keenan. It's Lance.
Lance. Yeah.
But it's Elite RC.
Elite RC. You have Elite RC. You have Mod Media. You have Live RC. You have excellent coverage at all of these races. And they're all pushing each other too, which is excellent.
And you have some more small guys too that are doing like regional coverages that are doing excellent jobs as well.
Yes, absolutely. And the last part of his question is, now that the B7 is out and about, what is the general consensus? I drove one and it's pretty dang good. Well, like I said earlier, we went from not being too sure about that car to yesterday we turned a corner with it, and now we are falling in love with it. And yeah, so it's new car blues. Lance says Austin Jacobson, I was wrong, never mind. I don't know if he has new car blues. So Pat Boyd's wondering, with it being 2 weeks from the next round at the Friday night series at Dollar and the new class changes, will we see a strong turnout for 21.5? So for 2-wheel and 4-wheel and stadium truck at Dollar, for the intermediate side of it, they have to run on slicks. and two wheels 21.5. I think you'll see it get chopped in half, honestly. But then I think you'll see it grow again. Like I said, this is a foreign concept to you, Zach, because you're more national, but we're just getting 21.5 in Minnesota. Like now. Like it's been around a couple years in most places.
As established classes, not even as like something that's new.
Right. Yeah, Minnesota's a little slow in that way. Oh, this is a good question. Now that it's available for shipping, will we see a Mugen two-wheel this spring or not until the fall? Ooh, that Mugen two-wheel, that's something else. It looks...
I don't know. I gotta wait to see how it performs because it looks like a agglomeration of like the Losi and the X-Ray and Associated.
It looks like the Losi if they kept developing it properly. And that adjustable rear, like the adjustable rear shock position, the little bit of additions that are in the car. I mean, I'm a Team Associated driver, if you can't tell by my shirt, but I'm excited and I hope that there's another contender in the ring. I really do. And also, I know locally there's a lot of Mugen only A-scale drivers. Maybe this two-wheel buggy would get them out racing 10 scale in the wintertime because they're that diehard of a fan. Yeah, but you're right. We have to see it in action. I bet you know what? I bet you former co-host Ryan Greening buys one from Dollar and it sits in his RC room for a year and a half with the seal unbroken on the box. That's my prediction. I mean, he's having too much fun with those twins. So, Craig Kruger, he goes, I think we talked about this a little bit, but I'm curious about LASIK eye surgery and has it affected racing for other people? Dry eyes, focus, depth perception. I'm thinking about getting LASIK done. I know you have to get it redone when you're our age. Does that make sense? It's not a once in a lifetime because Craig's like, I would guess you're probably 10 years younger than me, Zach, but Craig's around my age. He's a super fast guy, and I think he's looking for that edge once again.
I mean, I would. So, I've heard some things about LASIK, and I also look good in glasses, so I haven't bothered to. To do that. I have terrible eyesight, apparently, and it's getting worse, like every year. So I've heard some things about LASIK. I don't know what's what. I would just look it up online. But from like my uncle's had it, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law have both had it, and great success. There's no problems. They like it, but they don't like wearing glasses either. Or contacts, and I don't know much about that. Yeah.
I wear glasses at work and at the track, but other than that, I do not. But I'm getting to the point to where I don't think I'll be able to pass the eye test on my driver's license renewal next time. Unfortunately.
No, I don't think they care. And I'll tell you how I know they don't care. Because I got my driver's license without glasses.
Really?
Really.
Huh.
I used to navigate by landmarks, not by street signs, because by the time I could read the street sign, I was past the street.
Well, I'm that way as well. But I can still see okay. But things get sharp with my glasses. And now I will not wear bifocals, so now I have to get a pair of glasses for the computer as well. So, yeah. getting old. It's fun, man. Well, I saw Craig did have glasses this weekend, and he did. I don't know, man. It's not LASIK, but somebody. I'll be vague, but
Joe, I got a beer back.
Yep, go for it. I'll wait for Zach to come back. And yeah, what's everybody else doing? Lance just said Austin was wrong. Never mind. Huh. Is anybody in the chat right now? It says there's 24 people watching. Love bifocals. Jim, I tried them, and the problem is tracks with front straightaways, like a lot of them have, it would be like a fisheye lens, and I could not get used to the transition. It was just not great. Cam's just waiting for more racing. There's always more racing, Cam. You could have raced yesterday at the toy box. You could have come down to Island. Dude, I'm telling you guys, if you've never been down to Island Speedway, do not sleep on that place. If you're into carpet off-road, that is, or dirt oval. Both are fantastic tracks. All right, you're back?
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so I was going to tell you the story about my old man. So basically, he had a botched eye surgery, and now he has glaucoma and is basically blind in one eye. And his job is he runs a printing press, so he's got to see. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason I'm not for anybody touching anybody's eyes, ever. Joel Hyatt said, so we will be able to race two-wheel drive at Dollar Just with slicks and 21.5 turn. Oh, he says progressive lenses he hears works well. I was talking on here when you were gone about glasses. Pat Boyd saying, can't wait to go back to Island in June. And Cam was saying, yeah, I was busy. Also, I'm going to be like an hour from Island next week, so you got to swing by there. You got to swing by there, but leave your credit cards and wallet in, because they have a fully stocked hobby shop. I bought B7 parts that I was not able to get on the Team Associated webpage. That's how fully stocked it is. Justin wrote, why doesn't anyone want to pay what a car is worth now? He said, I tried selling his brand new built Truggy last year, basically ready to run, less receiver. Team drivers were offering him no more than $750 with a brand new OS speed. Because everybody wants a deal, Justin. I mean, yeah, it's worth way more, but everybody wants a deal.
Well, it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay, so.
That's true, but that motor's $500, and the pipe that goes along with it.
If you're just Joe, like I don't know this guy, but we talked a little bit about this, and I used to do resale when DRC first started.
Right.
That's how I got my feet wet. And if you don't buy it from like somebody that took care of it, you don't know the condition of anything in that kit. So, you could be on a good list for stuff, but that doesn't mean that the car's like still going to be amazing forever. Right. And when you can buy a new car that's going to be amazing for, like $300-400 more with electronics, right. Who's going to do that?
What he's saying is it was brand new, and I'm sure the motor was broken in by Sean Van Dalen, who's a reputable motor guy and all that junk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I also get what you're saying on your end. Cam's saying he's looking for a new Volkswagen too, so it's going to be a spendy trip, or a new old Volkswagen. Klinkner's wondering, Klinkner is one of the top guys at the Dakota Slideways who's having that race in July. What makes a fun off-road track? Is there any preference on direction of the tracks? I like clockwise myself, and Corey also said clockwise. What does that matter to you, Zach?
I don't know. So, recently, my favorite track, the lower level, switched. It's a carpet onward track, but they switched running counterclockwise to have the nap and the carpet the same direction as the oval racers.
Okay.
Because they have a big carpet oval crowd there.
Yep.
So that makes sense. That's and there are a couple races around the country that do run counterclockwise, like Snowbird, for the exact same reason. I don't think it matters. I think people, if you run it counterclockwise and it's just as good counterclockwise as it is clockwise, people are going to bitch about it because they like to bitch about stuff.
Right. What I was going to say is, so he's talking about off-road track as well. You have to make sure you can get in and out of the pits just as well. That's another big thing. Also, to me, what makes a good track, keep your lane widths somewhat the same. You know, don't go from like 12 feet to 6 feet to like 18 feet or none of that. Believe it or not, it's as much nonsense as that sounds. I've been on tracks like that.
I think it's just an added challenge, Joe, and you need to become a better driver.
So speaking of, so we're going to make a couple transitions and we're going to get off. So speaking of challenges, so yesterday I raced at the Toy Box for Border Battle, and it was a good time. The track was fun. It was definitely a challenge. The problem is we could only put marshals in the four corners. So the middle, if you crashed in the middle, you were done. You might as well just pack your crap and go home. In the Wheeler, Maine, what happened was I crashed twice in the middle and lost 2 laps, literally. I mean, it was my fault for crashing, yes, but it's also track's responsibility to build a track that can be marshaled. And also, if you build something, like let's say you build a triple, make sure a slower class can double single that triple. Make sure that the single out is a smooth transition. You know, just be smart. Cam was wondering,
usable for all classes,
yeah. Cam was wondering, was that a new layout? Yes, Cam, it was a new layout. Richard Dozark is saying sideways and away and towards the driver's stand. Don't like the angle from the driver's stand, if you know what I mean. I think I get what he's saying. Like he wants, but personally, myself, I like either a really, really, really high driver's stand or a really low driver's stand. I don't like that middle. So, but anyways, one more thing we wanted to talk about were selling used things online, because that's something sparked last week. And I thought it was...
I forgot about this already.
Well, that's fine. I forgot about it until you started talking about reselling.
Yeah.
So there is a guy online. He had a B6.4 for sale. He listed everything, and he was selling for $1,300.
It was a nice car.
Definitely,
really nice car. Like it was.
It was a $350 car.
Well,
because the B7 is out, and the B6.4. I mean, cool. You have all this stuff. It is now a $350 car. And he did that. I think he was running a joke because he posted a truck later on that was $1,300 and all that stuff. But man, people want their hop-up money back. Have you noticed that?
Some of the parts are worthwhile and some are not. I don't think a titanium screw kit personally makes your car resell anymore.
No.
Because the screws can wear out.
Yes.
But there's some option parts like the mod lightweight
Pucks.
drivetrain. Yeah, the
Yeah.
pucks. Those would make your car sell for more. There's a couple upgrades here and there that would make your car sell for more, but a lot of that stuff is not like it may perform better
Yep.
for you, but it's a lot of it's like a preference thing, and
Sure.
So what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but dude, $1,300. I mean,
and that's probably less than retail.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I put in a good chunk of change in my B7 and I'm about ready to do it again because my carpet car, my AstroTurf car are going to be two separate vehicles because the setup has changed quite drastically between the two surfaces.
Mhm.
And I'm about to do it again, and it's like I look at the amount of money I put in, and it's almost the amount of money I put in hop-ups is for me. It's not for resale value. I actually stopped reselling stuff. It's been hell reselling stuff. You got guys that might come back to you being like, hey, this, that, and the other. Or you have a never-ending stream of people well, when you ran it at this track, what did you do? I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what you want out of me. It's like, I wish I could sell, or God forbid, you sell to somebody like I sold to a guy in Canada, and I sent it, and he took a PayPal deal out against me because it was stuck in customs for a month.
Yep.
But that's not my fault. That's not my fault.
I know, Joe. You're talking to the right person. I know.
I know you know.
That's why this is a lot of the reasons I got out of reselling.
Yeah. So
part of that, that big chunk of change, I'm putting it on the manufacturer.
Yeah.
If you come out with a $300 car and it needs $400 worth of upgrades, that's bullshit.
It is.
Team Associated, Low C, X-Ray, that's bullshit.
So
you can have, for the on-road side, you can buy, maybe you got a couple springs, but springs are pretty interchangeable. Most times you can run like the same springs in different kits.
Yeah.
And you have some spares, maybe a couple like tuning parts you like for specific tracks.
Right.
But for the most part, like on-road wise, you buy, if you have a couple of those things, then you're done. And the kits are more expensive, but you're not buying hop up this, that, the other thing.
So my goal is to get my car close to weight. Okay, it doesn't have to be at weight. It's not that critical. I can be 20 grams over and be okay. I like the carbon parts for the artificial turfs with the carpets and the stiffer feel. So with not my car, because Team Associated's all out of parts, and it says they're not getting anything until April. So Team Associated is not, I can't buy from them. So I loaded up my cart at A-Main, and I'm only looking at putting in what I put into my B7, which is my turf car. I'm putting it in my carpet car. It's going to be $98, which isn't terrible.
That's okay. That's tuning parts. If you're going like stiffer plastics,
that's what I'm doing.
Like that might be something that Team Associated needs to do. Like you have your dirt, right? They got the 7D.
Yep.
You got the 7, and maybe you have a 7C. It's just different plastics instead of having to buy them.
Right.
They come with the kit. Like nothing crazy, but you could offer that reasonably, and even charge another $10, $20, whatever. As the kit price for it, but then guys don't have to buy $100 worth of parts.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's not that there are guys spending a whole lot more, and you don't have to.
I think like the weight thing, I don't know in off-road specifically because I was told just whatever it weighs, it weighs.
Yeah,
for mod?
On mod and dirt, yes. Whatever it weighs, it weighs.
I mean, and I think I'm like 100 grams overweight, and I'm like, even if I put like a titanium screw kit in the top, I would still be way overweight, so it doesn't matter.
The only
But
thing oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
so so maybe it needs to be a little revision in the rules to be like plus 50 grams or something, so that you don't have to have like all these things to make minimum weight. But in like on road, I think the manufacturers and the rule makers need to get together, because for running mod, I have an aluminum screw kit on the top of it.
Yep.
I'm running tungsten screws in the bottom.
Yep.
And I have 240 grams of weight in the car to make weight.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that is so much weight.
My point is, with the B7, I had to run the full size pack, and I had to add 14 grams of weight to get it up to weight. Also,
it's okay.
I like to run lightweight bodies. It got put into my head with 12 scales, so I was messing around, and it's when those super pro light bodies came out. So you had the pro light, the lightweight, and the regular weight. Mm-hmm. The difference between a lightweight and a pro light, not even like the lightest you can get, and a regular weight, was average 0.4 of a lap faster with the pro light, because you were getting all that weight from up top and you're making it go away. Mm-hmm. And I run lightweight bodies on everything now that I can, because that just stuck in my head. Honestly, the car didn't feel much different, but man, it was so much slower. So anyways, yeah, do you got anything else? Because I'm going to have to sit down here and re-record the audio, which is going to be oh so fun, because everything decided to make a mistake tonight.
Yeah, I think we can cut this one at this point. I have other stuff I could say, but I think this is sufficient. We could spend a whole lot more time talking about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff happening right now, a lot of trash talking and all that. I mean, I could regale you of an email that I'll talk to you off air. All right, guys. I'm Joe Zaire Jr., and with me was Zach Donathan, and we have ran out of talent. Have a good night, guys.